Hey, good morning.
Good
Welcome
morning,
into the Martin Houston
Martin
Show
Houston.
on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial, the Martin Houston Show fan page on Facebook. Good with beautiful Wednesday morning. It's another hump day edition of the Martin Houston Show. Glad that you've chosen to make us a part of your morning routine. Let's get things going. This is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. And give us a call at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business. We'd like to get you in on the conversation. Got a couple of topics we want to talk about. Of course, we want to talk about the baseball team and getting a big win yesterday, advancing in the SEC baseball tournament in Hoover. Also, we have an opportunity for the to talk about Alabama in the league, Alabama in the NFL. Looked at some numbers. Want to dive into that a little bit. Alabama and the impact that they're having on the NFL. And of course, we can talk a little bit about how dominant Alabama baseball has been. Good morning, Joe. How you doing, sir?
Doing great today, Martin. Having a happy Wednesday. Ready to get back up to Hoover for a second day since Alabama won yesterday.
Yeah. Did you had a chance to go up yesterday?
Yeah, it was a great time. I went up midday yesterday to watch Alabama take on South Carolina, and it was a lot of fun.
So, what were your takeaway from the team?
Well, really two things. Tyler Ross, he was starting pitcher yesterday. He pitched six innings, only gave up three runs. Really important for Alabama to have him go deep in the game because they got limited arms, and we want to get the most out of our arms all week long up there. And then Alabama really was patient in the third inning. They took advantage of several wild pitches from South Carolina, and by the time they were able to get the bases loaded, they had a couple big hits and broke the game wide open, and seized control to move on to today's games.
Yeah, and South Carolina, number 24 ranked team in the country. Alabama, from what I can tell, I don't claim to be a big follower of baseball, but have started peeking in a little bit, and they seem to be playing their best baseball right now. Which, if you're gonna, it's not always how good you are. It's how well you're playing when the games matter and you can advance. So Alabama playing well in terms of what they have going on, the opportunity they have. And, of course, today you're going to be going back up to see them play against the Tennessee Volunteers. So you know much about that matchup? In terms of the Tennessee Volunteers in the matchup that they have today, Alabama has Coach Bohannon said that they need to get a couple more wins. That said the kids were excited. We had a really spirited workout, and they were not. He was not surprised at the way they played against South Carolina. So if they can keep that going, they'll have a great opportunity to advance. So congratulations to Coach Bohannon. And once again, and yet again, it shows just how good of an AD we have in Burns in terms of bringing in the coaches. He had Bohannon identified as a guy he wanted, that he felt could advance some things in terms of the baseball program. And Bohannon off to a good run last year, and of course COVID got him, and he was able to come back this year and still pick back up where he left off and head into the SEC tournament. Maybe if they can get one or two more wins, they may be able to get into the actual big dance. So we'll see if they're able to do that and get that streak back started, getting into the NCAA tournament. So we'll keep you posted on that. Also, news around the SEC on this Wildcard Wednesday. Former LSU Tiger TJ Finley headed to Auburn. He kept the news out there that he may be headed to the to Alabama, but of course that was not the case. But he definitely was not mistaken when he said, "Hey, I'm headed to Alabama and or Auburn," and of course that's exactly where he landed with the Auburn Tigers. So kudos to him. I'm not sure how happy our dear friend on the capstone, Mr. Bo Nix, is with that decision, but we'll see if he's able to ward off the young man TJ Finley. Any thoughts, comments, Joe, on the TJ Finley ended up at the Auburn Tigers?
I think Brian Harsin clearly wanted to get more experience in his quarterback room, bringing in TJ Finley. They brought in someone else, I think from Bowling Green, perhaps.
They did.
So he's bringing in a lot of experience. Makes me wonder if he is questioning what he has with Bo Nix. My only issue with TJ Finley was he was maybe a little bit loud in the transfer portal. Which that's fine. You can be confident in yourself, be excited about your own skills, and more power to him. I just I don't know if I would have been maybe as loud as he was during his transfer process, but more power to him, and we'll see what he's got this fall. We'll see if he can win that job away from Bo Nix.
Yeah. Auburn did have two other quarterbacks on the roster other than Finley, in terms of young man from Bowling Green, Grant Loy, has like 1,100 over 1,100 yards at Bowling Green in 2019, and freshman Demetrius Davis, they're the only other two scholarship guys besides Nix. So TJ Finley ended up there. He said his finalists were Penn State, Houston, Alabama, and Auburn, and he chose the Auburn Tigers. And I agree with you. He didn't make a lot of noise, Joe. But if you look at that list of quarterbacks and players in the portal, those who go silently, a lot of them are still there waiting. Except for the one, I think that Nick Saban helps coordinate his players. I'm convinced of that he helps these young guys get to that next school. But it's a lot of guys going to that portal, never to be heard from again. Even when they get picked up by teams, it's kind of, a lot of them end up going down a division or not in a better situation. Technically, is he in a better situation? I'm not sure. Except for the fact that he goes in and fighting against Bo Nix. And Bo Nix is going to be interesting. Bo Nix, to me, was given the job before he earned it. And, you may have a different opinion of that. I think that he was the heir apparent. I think there was pressure because of his dad and the relationship there. And, he that first game local product. Seth Williams made an unbelievable catch to end that game, to win that game, where it was really a bad underthrow. And Seth Williams went up and made a play. And, of course, I think Bo was kind of exalted as a hero from that point on, Joe. And to me, he's not a bad quarterback. And I think had he gone, in my opinion, had Bo Nix gone somewhere other than Auburn, I think he'd have been a better quarterback. I think he has the tools, but I just don't think Gus Malzahn's system was right for him. To me, he reminded me of a lot of the other quarterbacks have gone there to die, and he just didn't fit that mold, but he wanted to play where his dad played, I guess, and he made that choice. But your assessment of Bo Nix as a quarterback?
I think he's a fine college quarterback. I think that he's he's average. I think that he's an athletic kid who has made some plays in his life, and really, I think he's a winner. But I don't think that he does anything that is like overly impressive and overly skillful per se.
Yeah, and that's what I would love to. I mean, like I said, I think Gus Malzahn's bad for any quarterback. In my opinion, we've seen several guys go there that look like they had the ability to pass, but when you don't get to run route trees and et cetera, Bo Nix coming out of college before Story came to Alabama was the man in Alabama high school football at quarterback. And of course, he didn't hold on to some of those records for very long, but he was one of the best ever played at the high school level at Alabama. That's not saying everything, but that's saying a lot. And it'll be interesting to see if Harsin and TJ Finley get more out of Nix, or Nix folds under the pressure of being pushed. Finley, of course, leaving from the LSU Tigers where he could not win. He came out as the number 3 quarterback after not being able to win the job last year. He started 5 games, but was not able to win the job coming out of spring. So big dude, though, 6'6", 240 pounds, 5-game experience as a freshman, 941 yards, touchdowns, but 5 interceptions. So 18 days after going into the portal, making a lot of noise, Joe, and keeping himself in the public eye. I guess it worked for him. He had always expressed interest in staying in the SEC and finding a team that plays against LSU. On that in Auburn. The question now holds that we're asking ourselves at Alabama: is the SEC going to allow these transfers to be immediately eligible, or are they going to are they going to have to make them sit out a year? That has not been decided, even though I know of at least 3 guys that have transferred within the SEC, all with the hopes that that's going to ruling immediate eligibility. We can talk about that. We can talk about Alabama players in the NFL. I want to break down that list. There's one anomaly in the NFL, and in a way, they even have a tie back to the Crimson Tide. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about because it's a Wildcard Wednesday. So let me hear from you. 205-342-9904, or give us a call on the Taco Casa hotline at 205-342-9904, or chat us up at Martin Houston 35 or Martin Houston Live on Facebook.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Towson Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet as we start our Wednesday morning. No wrecks, no delays. If you do see conditions, just give us a call, 205-886-8886. Other dealers may be out of inventory, but Towson Nissan has an awesome selection. And yes, they really want your trade. Towson Nissan, I'm Captain Ray.
Celebrate Memorial Day with doorbuster deals at JCPenney on summer essentials through Monday only. Sponsored by JCPenney. Celebrate Memorial Day with doorbuster deals at JCPenney on summer essentials through Monday only.
Do you feel vibrations when you step on your brake pedal? Is it taking you too long to come to a complete stop? Well, then it just might be time to replace your brakes. Don't wait for brake failure to cause an accident. Replace your brakes with high-quality brakes from Northport Auto Supply. Northport Auto Supply has the area's largest inventory of brakes in stock and will help you find the brakes that are best for your car. Northport Auto Supply. Why go anywhere else?
So, how can I promote my new curbside pickup service?
It's possible with Staples Connect.
I need custom floor decals that'll get noticed, not just walked on.
Also possible, Staples Connect can help your business grow with custom printed sales and marketing materials. And now get 15% off signs, posters, and decals when you spend $75 or more. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. Ends 5/29. Visit staples.com/signage for details.
The Memorial Day sale is here. 50 to 70% off almost everything. Plus flip-flops from $4, tees from $8, dresses from $12, and more summer-style deals. Shop it all through May 31st at Gap Factory and gapfactory.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Sky partially sunny today. A small chance of any one spot getting a shower this afternoon or this evening. The high today 91. Tonight's low 68. Tomorrow mostly sunny during the morning. A few isolated afternoon showers around. The high at 90. I'm James Spain on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 64 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmarkdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Good morning. Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. We're talking about the SEC Alabama baseball team at SEC tournament. Alabama taking on Tennessee Volunteers in the second game today. And, of course, C.J. Watson cannot stand the Volunteers. I think he said he gets a little throw up in his mouth every time he has to say Tennessee or Volunteer. He said they low down, they dirty, they some snitches. Get the win, Bama. So C.J. Watson pulling for the Alabama Crimson Tide to get game number 2. If they get game number 2, Joe, is that enough? Or do they need to get one more win after today, or at least win today and play well to possibly get an invite? Or where do you think they stand on that opportunity?
I think they probably need, unfortunately, one more win in this tournament to give themselves a decent chance at winning, at getting invited to a regional. Now it's a double elimination from here on out, so They will get to play at least 2 more games. I think that they need to come away with one more victory this week to feel good about where they're standing.
How big of an accomplishment would that be? Because, you know, like I said, last year the baseball team was playing really well before COVID. But you go back 2 years, man, and this program was in shambles, and players not wanting to leave, and it's just it has his turnaround. Even though they're not at the level you want to see, where would you rank kind of his performance as a coach and this program's performance?
I think it's impressive, and I know a lot of people may be looking for more from that program, but given the circumstances of the scholarship limitations, where the program was before, and how the other schools in the SEC are recruiting, I think it's really impressive. I think that Coach Bohannon has already met this year's expectations, which is, in my opinion, the bar was making it back to Hoover was the goal.
Yep.
And the boys did that, and they've also come away with a win up in Hoover. So I think if he makes a regional, that would be kind of a little bit of a step even higher up. I think making a regional should be the baseline goal next year. And I think Coach Bohannon has made a lot of progress.
Yeah, and I'm like you, and a lot of fans may or may not know, when we say the way the other schools recruit and scholarships and limitations, 13 point what's the actual percentage, or is it 11? I always get basketball and baseball mixed up. Is it 11 or 13?
I believe it's 11.7.
Yeah, 11. That's right, 11. Not quite 12 scholarships, which makes no sense to me. I mean, but they have to have a roster with pitching and subs and rotation. They usually have to have a roster somewhere probably between 28 to 32 players, somewhere in that range, probably. That they have to divvy up those scholarships, Joe. And I think about baseball from a roster management scenario. They're probably laughing at the rest of like football and all these other sports, Joe. The baseball coaches are probably laughing at that already, thinking, guys, you have no idea, because right now Bohannon has to recruit a kid out of high school to convince him to come. While that kid can commit to him, that kid can also go to the major league draft, and so he could have a kid who is the second coming, of whoever you want to pick as your favorite baseball player, and then that kid can be gone, once the draft comes around. And then he can have a really good season, Joe, and some of his upperclassmen can put their hat in the draft and leave or not leave, and some of them leave. So he could have a really, really good recruiting year, have what he wants, looking forward, and every one of those players could end up being gone. And I'm sitting here complaining about timing for football about May 1st, right? So that's part of it. Then he has to divvy up those scholarships, Joe. And what happens when you lose those players and the way the scholarships was divvied up doesn't leave you with a whole lot because some of the guys you didn't give as much money to were ended up being a better player, so you can't go back out. And then you take where we're situated in the SEC. To the north, we have Tennessee and Vandy. And I know you normally don't think about Vandy that much in the baseball world, but Vandy is kind of leading the way in a lot of ways. They've been kind of the best team in the conference, in and out, year in and year out for several years running, or at least one of the most competitive, and of course, pulling down, Natty. And they have a way to give additional scholarship money from a lottery. Then you have Mississippi State, who has the extra money, and we know the history of Mississippi State when it comes to baseball, Joe. One of the power programs. Then you have Louisiana, and then you have Florida, and both of those have Hope scholarships and lottery money. And of course, we know Georgia has lottery money, and they're able to supplement their scholarships. And then there's Alabama surrounded by that. So it's a big task to get the top players in the state that's good enough to go to these other programs to stay in Alabama, much less go to the NFL. So he really does have, to me, one of the toughest recruiting, coaching, roster management jobs of any coach in any sport.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's very challenging when you can consider all the factors you just mentioned, all the competition, the rest of the league being competing at such a high level, and just the scholarship limitations that he has to deal with. It's really tough. I think that we've already had a successful season. I thought last year was successful at 16-1 with the even unfortunate cancellation of the year, and this year to get back to Hoover, I think that they've accomplished their main goal. So I think he's on the right track. It's just going to be a slow and steady, long track to build the baseball program back up.
Yeah, and he's having to go outside of the state and having to use those recruiting tools, but Did it at Kentucky, did it at Auburn, and I think he's going to do it. He's doing it at Alabama early in his career. So kudos to Coach Bohannon and the Crimson Tide. And 2 more games left in their season at least. Hopefully they can get 1 or 2 more wins. And maybe, hey, who knows, get hot enough to even make it a run over into the last day or so of the tournament. We'll be watching it here on the Martin Houston Show, and we'll keep you in the loop as far as that goes. And hey, listen, if he can fool around and get some help where he can get a few more scholarships, which I'm going to jump on my soapbox real quick, Joe, and hop back off of it. I think the NCAA are idiots when it comes to baseball scholarships. I understand Title IX. I understand making it right for female sports and female athletes, but there should be an outcry for what they do for to baseball. Just because there is no equivalent scholarship female sport for for football. And so they should find a way and limit that count when they're counting for Title IX and equality. They should not count 85 scholarships for football and then take those away from male sports in terms of the equating of the numbers. Agree or disagree?
I'm kind of on the fence on that one. The scholarships it is 85 male athletes who are getting scholarships. So they are getting a scholarship. I think they should be equaled out on the women's side.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying don't give the 85 scholarships to the women. I'm saying that when you're looking at the number and not equating it out, that the football, if there was a female equivalent, Joe, of football, then that would make sense. You see what I'm saying? There is no way to equate that out. So if you happen to play other sports, there are male sports that don't get a scholarship, but they're being discriminated just as much as they don't play football either. So they don't have that opportunity. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't give the scholarships in terms of the women's sports. I'm just saying use that and then make the men equal. It makes zero sense to have one of the worst sports, and I can say this: a lot of people won't and can't, but the makeup and the demographics of baseball is such that I think if it was different and if it had more minorities and more of a sport and wasn't viewed as such a privileged sport and travel sport and a limited number and I think if the demographics were such that more help was needed, I think more help would get there or it'd be more of an outcry. And that's just my opinion. Like I said, a lot of people won't say that and not willing to say that, but I am. I just think that, anyway, that's me. I get frustrated sometimes with that. And I don't have anybody in baseball and I don't have a kid in baseball. So it's not a personal thing. It's just one of those things I've never really understood from the college equality thing when you're unfair to athletes in one sport based on the number of athletes you have in another sport. But that's Martin's opinion. So if you disagree, you're welcome to call me up, call me out, shout me down, whatever you want to do. This is the Martin Houston Show, your team. It's the Sound of Bama Sports, and we'd like to hear from you on that, as well as we're going to talk about Alabama in the NFL. That conversation coming up next, and we'll catch up with Scotty Hollins in the fourth quarter.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Towson Nissan Traffic Center, no wrecks, just a bit of congestion on McFarland eastbound at Lurleen and 69 southbound at Skyland. If you see other conditions, just give us a call, 205-886-8886. Other dealers may be out of inventory, but Towson Nissan has an awesome selection. And yes, they really want your trade. Towson Nissan, I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Get ready for summer at Banana Republic Factory with 50 to 70% off everything. Discover new styles for all your sun-filled adventures, including easy tops, fresh shorts, and more from $9.99. Journey to your nearest store or shop online only at Banana Republic Factory.
If you're in HR, you're probably wearing a lot of hats. Recruiter, team builder, trainer, mediator, policymaker, and of course, pusher. But not anymore. Bamboo HR is the #1 HR software for small and medium businesses. It manages all your employee data easily and automates countless tasks, so you can focus on people, not paperwork. Bamboo HR frees you from spreadsheets, so you can do your real job, creating a great place to work. If the data shuffle and paperwork mountain have you ready to hang up all your hats, you're ready for Bamboo. If you handle HR records and paperwork, Bamboo HR is a dream. Let us free up your time and put your days of pushing paperwork behind you, so you can focus on the people and making your company a great place to work for everyone. Try PC Magazine's top pick for HR software free today. Just go to bamboohr.com/panda. This is a limited offer only available to radio listeners at bamboohr.com/panda. That's bamboohr.com/panda.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our Pep Talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Martin, you're hot in 3, 2, 1.
All right, we're back in with the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. We have Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries, coming up next for the Christian Moment of the Week presented by Johnson & Marshall Dentistry. So stay tuned for that challenge. We're talking Alabama baseball, the SEC tournament. And, of course, I went on a soapbox about scholarships, and you're welcome to comment on that. D.H. Bates saying he thinks that scholarships should be directly proportionate to the number of students on the roster. You may have different opinions than mine, and that is absolutely 100% okay. The rules are what the rules are, and if somebody wants to get them changed, then they can work to get them changed. We're talking about a topic that I wanted to get to, and we may have more opportunity to get to it deeper, but how many NFL players, how many guys from Alabama are in the NFL today? Joe, you have a count? You got a number before the preseason starts? You have any idea how many former Alabama players?
The number is standing out in my head. I'm going to guess 81.
You and I may agree. The article that I was reading said 82. Let me ask you a question. Is the Aaron Robinson that they're counting, he didn't finish at Alabama, right? Isn't that the kid from UCF? or do we have another Aaron Robinson?
I was totally just guessing with 81. That was I was pulling that out with. I remember last year I thought it was a high 70s, mid 70s.
That's crazy. The article says 82, but I'm trying to figure out, have we had two Aaron Robinsons at Alabama? Because I know one went to UCF and just got drafted, and I saw his name on the list. So I'm wondering, is that the one? And they're just saying he played on Alabama's roster, so they're counting him as an Alabama guy. But either way, 81 or 82, if that's the Aaron Robinson that I'm thinking of that was drafted from UCF, defensive back that left Alabama and transferred down. But think about that. 82, it says 82 former players right now on the current roster. Listen to some of these numbers. 31 NFL teams have players from Alabama on them. You have any idea which team is not represented?
I think it's the Saints. Is that right?
It's the Saints. The Saints. And guess what? You know what? They have a guy that was here.
They should count that. Alvin Kamara, we count him.
we should count Alvin Kamara. Hey, up until Derrick Henry started doing what he's done the last 2 years, I was saying the best running back to ever play that ever signed with Alabama under Nick Saban may have been Alvin Kamara. As far as just his transition, the best NFL, not college, the best NFL career so far had been Alvin Kamara. In what he was doing with the Saints, agree or disagree? Before Derrick Henry has just taken over as far as running back.
Well, probably gonna have to agree. Kamara's pretty dang special in the NFL, and
yes.
While Mark Ingram was special, it was serviceable. I'm not sure if he was quite at the dynamic, electric level that Alvin Kamara was when he was first coming into the league.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara came in at the right time, the right moment, with the right coordinator, the right quarterback, and he's special in terms of what he does. But Alabama has the 82 players, 31 teams, the only one not represented at this time with an actual guy who played on the field for Alabama, New Orleans Saints. The Miami Dolphins have the most, Joe, with 6 players. And then the Raiders, the Patriots, and the Giants all have 5 apiece. Undoubtedly, Washington must have got rid of all of their Alabama guys, because at one point I was starting to think Washington was just that Alabama was Washington's farm team. But several of those guys have left this offseason, so their numbers aren't quite as high. Which position do you think is the most represented, Joe?
Oh, okay. Let's see. I'm gonna say
it's actually a 3-way tie.
Okay, then I'm gonna say receiver, offensive line, and defensive back.
And 2 out of 3 is not bad, Joe. I would have said the exact same ones you did. Wide receiver and safety are 2 have 10 apiece, and then defensive tackle. Defensive tackle was the other one that had 10 each. And then, of course, DBs clearly I pointed out safety because there's 10 safeties, but then there's 8 cornerbacks. So 18 DBs in the league right now. And then from a linebacker standpoint, 7 inside linebackers, 7 running backs, only 5 offensive tackles. And then, of course, if we count linemen, overall, 5 offensive tackles, 4 centers, 4 guards. So, a total, what's that, 4, and 5, 13 offensive linemen, 4 outside linebackers. And the number that blows your mind, 1 quarterback, 4 quarterbacks, Joe. So, and the most surprising number, they have Carr Tucker listed as a fullback. I don't get that. Instead of as a tight end, 3 tight ends, 1 defensive end, and you think we may be leading the league in long snappers? We have 3 long snappers in the league, Joe. So who knew? Of course, 14 guys ended up signing this year, drafted and or signed. So of those 82 players are the guy with the longest stint is offensive tackle Andre Smith, playing his first game way back in 2009. So we can let me see how much time I got. Yeah, I'm gonna run through this list because it was interesting. I was trying to figure out, Joe, when you think about 82 players, do you think I couldn't name most of them, even though I know every name once I started looking at the list. Saban has put so many guys in the league. You're like, I forgot about him. I forgot about this guy. I forgot. I didn't even know he was still playing. So of the 82, I'll start off with starting with the A's. Arizona Cardinals, Deontay Thompson, Falcons, Julio McCarron, Ridley. That may be changing soon, as the conversation yesterday, Julio Jones wants out of the Falcons. Anthony Averett, Bozeman, Humphrey, and Smith, all with the Ravens. The Buffalo Bills, Levi Wallace. I still love that story, Joe, of him and his road and his path to the NFL, and had a chance to talk with that young man. And he's as impressive in person as he is on the field. But he's a lone ranger at the Buffalo Bills now. And then Carolina Panthers, Deontay Brown, Thomas Fletcher, Christian Miller, so two of those rookies. So hopefully they'll both catch on. And who's with your Chicago Bears, Joe?
Eddie Jackson.
Eddie Jackson, safety Eddie Jackson. Did he go back to his number 4 this year?
He is. He's changing back to number 4.
Okay. All right. Cincinnati Bengals, Tony Brown, still a guy who, to me, that has just underachieved when you look at that talent. You remember that we used to have that comparison between him and Marlon Humphrey here at Alabama?
Yeah, I think Marlon proved to be better.
I think so. Maybe Tony gets it right. Jonah Williams with the Bengals. Then the Cleveland Browns got Ronnie Harrison. Damian Square still hanging on Jedrick Wills Jr., Mac Wilson. Cowboys, Amari Cooper and Trayvon Diggs. The Denver Broncos, Kareem Jackson. That guy has just been Mr. Steady for a long time. Jerry Jeudy and Joe's favorite defensive back, Patrick Surtain, the second at cornerback. Sean Deion Hamilton, one of those guys that left the Redskins, now with the Detroit Lions. Deshaun Hand, defensive lineman. I think he's on the verge of having a breakout career with the Lions. The problem is no one gets to see the Lions. J.K. Scott, the lone representative with the Green Bay Packers. Houston Texans, Shy Carter, making a roster again, Joe, after having spent a year here as a graduate assistant. Mark Ingram also going to the Houston Texans. So hopefully he's able to, I shouldn't say rekindle, but continue to extend his contract. Ryan Kelly, Indianapolis coach. Do you remember when Ryan Kelly was drafted, Joe? Everybody had all of these other players that were going to go first that year, and Ryan Kelly ended up being the first Alabama guy off the board. That was, I mean, it wasn't a shock to them, but it was a shock to, I think, the Alabama fans.
He was the only Alabama player drafted in the first round that year also.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It was like what? And so, and he's proven to be the right guy. And if I remember correctly, Luck was still on the team then, right?
Yes, he was.
Yes, and I think that's what we didn't estimate. No one knew Luck was going to leave, but I think they were getting a guy that they thought a lot of these great quarterbacks have centers that they kind of grew up with and spend a long time with. So I think that's what they were thinking as well. Dylan Moses, the surprise of the draft falling, but landing, I think, in a good place with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He and Cam Robinson there. Kansas City Chiefs, Garrett Dieter still hanging on as a wide receiver. Derek Gore. That was probably my surprise pick, Joe. Anybody surprise you more than Derek Gore as a running back? I don't even remember Derek Gore playing at Alabama, but I remember the name, but go figure. Jaron Reed is now with the Kansas City Chiefs. Your Las Vegas Raiders having 5, Lester Cotton, Tuscaloosa Central High native, Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs. Those two right there, Joe, is there a better duo at running back in the NFL than those two right now?
Probably not.
That may be a good poll question to look at. Is and bring it back instead of doing it at the pro level. We can do it there. But if you could take any two running backs at Alabama, which two would you link together as far as the duo? That may be an interesting conversation somewhere down the road. Alex Leatherwood, offensive tackle, Henry Ruggs, the third wide receiver with the Raiders. The Chargers, Cole Mazza, the long snapper with the Chargers, Los Angeles Rams, Terrell Lewis, Ashawn Robinson, and then the Miami Dolphins, the team with the most, Raekwon Davis, DJ Fluker, Robert Foster, Tua Tagovailoa, Carl Tucker. I got him listed at fullback. Jalen Waddle, Minnesota Vikings, Irv Smith Jr., Davlin Tomlinson left the Giants, went there. New England Patriots, Christian Barmore, Damian Harris, Dante Hightower, Anthony Jennings, and Mac Jones. The Saints, none. Giants, Ryan Anderson, Xavier McKinney, Reggie Ragland, Aaron Robinson, Carson, the Jets, CJ Mosley, Quentin Williams, and then Philadelphia Eagles, Landon Dickerson, Jalen Hurts, Ross Piersbacher, and Devontae Smith. The Pittsburgh Steelers having four guys, Isaiah Buggs, forget about him sometimes. Minkah Fitzpatrick having a stellar career. Guy that I'm looking forward to playing probably as much as anyone this year is Najee Harris. J.C. Hasselmeyer. And then really quick, rounding out the last few, 49ers, Jaron Mayton, Seahawks, Savion Smith, Bucks, O.J. Howard, Tennessee Titans, Evans, Forrestall, Henry, Smith, and the Washington football team, Jonathan Allen, Landon Collins, Darren Payne, and Cam Sims. That rounds out the Alabama Crimson Tide in the NFL. Let's get the break here. And I did that just to give, I know I always get asked a lot, hey, where this guy at? Is he still playing? So that was just an update for you. Come back on the other side. We'll have our Christian Moment of the Week with Scotty Hollins.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Towson Nissan Traffic Center, no wrecks, just a bit of congestion on McFarland eastbound at Lurleen and 69 southbound at Skyland. If you see other conditions, just give us a call, 205-886-8886. Other dealers may be out of inventory, but Towson Nissan has an awesome selection. And yes, they really want your trade. Towson Nissan, I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good morning. A Tuscaloosa County jail inmate is dead. The 39-year-old died yesterday afternoon after he was found unresponsive in his cell. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Cause of death is under investigation by the Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit. An autopsy will be performed. Collins Riverside volunteer football coach Ryan Perry will be buried Thursday. Public visitation will be conducted between 4 and 6 p.m. at Holy Spirit Catholic Church. Funeral services will follow. Keep up with local news, sports, and weather on TuscaloosaThread.com. I'm Don Hart.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
Sorry to interrupt your jams, murder mystery podcasts, or motivational beach noises, but we got something else you might like to hear.
It's called cash. That's the sound of an extra $250 after your first 10 deliveries with Uber Eats. That's right, an extra $250 on top of all the other cash you'll make during those first 10 deliveries. If that sounds good, visit t.uber.com/extra250. Uber Eats, deliver with us. Limited time offer, terms apply. See t.uber.com/extra250 for more details.
At Towson Nissan, your trade-in value is at an all-time high, and Towson Nissan wants it today. Yes, we have a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles starting at only $10,990. Wow, and new kicks crossovers starting at $19,990. Now that's savings, folks. Yes, we have the hot new Rogue and Armadas. Plenty of trucks here too at Towson Nissan Tuscaloosa. We've got the inventory, and yes, we'll pay top dollar for that trade. Some makings of a great car deal for you today. Towson Nissan, Skyland Boulevard, right across from the State Trooper's office.
At Northport Auto Supply, we understand there's nothing worse than a dead battery. So to keep this from happening, be sure you periodically check your battery, including the terminals for corrosion. And if you ever need help, then come by Northport Auto Supply and let our knowledgeable professionals check your battery for free. Northport Auto Supply has the area's largest inventory of batteries in stock, and we'll even install it for you at no charge.
Northport Auto Supply. Why go anywhere else?
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Martin, you're hot.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. It's now time for our weekly catch-up with Scotty Hollins, Blueprint Ministries, presented by Johnson & Marshall Dentistry. The Christian Moment of the Week gives us a chance to be challenged how to incorporate our faith into our chosen field of play, whether it's the boardroom or the classroom or where we spend the majority of our day. Got about 5 minutes. Scotty, take it away, man, and challenge us how we can incorporate our faith into our daily walk.
Absolutely. Hey, today I want to start a new series, and it's going to be called Compassion for Those Around Us That Leads to Action. I'm going to say it again. Compassion for those around us that leads to action. And I was going to say compassion for others, but I wanted to be more specific and say compassion for those around us, because I want us to understand that the people that we are around on a daily basis, whether it be our family, whether it be our coworkers, whether it be those at the gym that we work at, whether it be the families that are part of our kids' baseball team, wherever it is that you find yourself, that is not by coincidence. And so when you think about go ahead, Mark. Yeah.
I laughed, not because of your topic, but I have, and we probably, I don't know how deep you're going to get because I'm interrupting you, but I have been teaching on love at the church. And for the last 2 weeks, the message that I thought I was going to preach and I went a different direction. And then last week was Senior Day. This Sunday, the title of my message is Compassion, the Love Trigger. And
wow,
yeah.
Remember that.
so the whole concept there.
We didn't discuss this before, by the way.
Not at all. So go ahead, man.
Yeah. So what I want to do today is just kind of, I won't even go into the passage, our first passage, but I'll just kind of give, again, just a reminder of understand that there's no coincidence that you are around the people that you are around. Another thing I want you to understand is that, again, God has a plan for each of those relationships. Okay. And so, and that's the way I want to start. I think as we need to think about really two types of relationships that we have as believers. We have relationships with those people who know Christ that are around us, but we have relationships with those around us who don't know Christ. Our job and our goal for every relationship that we have with those around us who know Christ is to edify them and to build them up. The point, but that's going to start with compassion. That's going to start with caring about them. And so the goal and job for our relationship with every non-believer is to point them to Christ. And so, first of all, I just want to make sure we understand that there is no coincidences, but God is in complete control. He is the one who is orchestrating, placing you in specific settings and around certain families. And the point is, I want us to pray that God would grant us compassion to care about those around us. Because I'll be honest, if we have the compassion, that's going to be, like you said, that's the trigger, Martin. If we have compassion to care for those around us, then we will be moved to action.
Yeah.
And so one thing I'll kind of, one other thought I want to share with all those who are listening, who say, you know what, I'm a believer. And you know what, I want to grow in that area. I'll be honest, I can always grow in this area as well. Is understand this. We can sometimes believe that, okay, Martin's the pastor of Harvest. And so, it's his job to share Christ with everyone, of course, at that church, but then everyone within that community. And so Martin, his job really is one of his jobs is to, invest in that congregation and to train them and equip them to go out and share Christ with that community. And of course, Martin can share as well. And so what I want to give you a statement. Every member is a minister. Okay. So every member of the body of Christ, if you've accepted Christ, then you are as well a minister of the gospel. And so what we're going to look at in the next couple of weeks is compassion for those around us that leads to action, so that right where you are, you can open your eyes to the opportunities to serve right there.
Absolutely. That's Scotty Hollins, Blueprint Ministry Executive Director. And I always like to look at compassion in two ways: what you're passionate about, and then find something in common with those who need it. And the two will cause you to act. Will cause you to act. You have a common passion to help those around you. But we're going to dig deep on this one, man. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, sir.
And tell them real quick where they can find you, Scotty.
Absolutely. You can go to www.blueprinttuscaloosa.com. You can send me a message there. It comes straight to my email.
All right. That's Scotty Hollins. And, hey, if you want to get a head start on the compassion, love trigger, compassion to action conversation, join Harvest Church this Sunday at 10, Bible study at 9. We'd love to have you. Scotty, thank you so much. We look forward to catching up and getting this conversation started next week.
Thank you, Martin.
All right. Remember this: trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding, and all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Martin Houston Show. Have a blessed day.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.
Thanks, Martin. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.